So good morning Audi A2 fans, again another little short video clip on living with an Audi A2. So this morning got up into the car on a pretty cold and wet miserable day. As you can see outside it's absolutely hammering down, and you can also hear the characteristic rattle of the rain on the roof of the aluminium roof of the Audi A2. I've also learned that by turning the iPhones sideways you get a better picture quality. So got into the car this morning, started it, reversed it up the drive, and for your information, we've also got the colour DIS as fitted by Tom Cunningham, a very knowledgeable and intelligent guy who's done a lot of work on the car over the course of a couple of years. So we're going to focus on this little fella here, which is the engine check light. Now my gut feeling before I put the scanner into this is that this is going to be the inlet manifold anti-shudder valve, which is shutting down. Last year when I bought the car, I had a problem with it, changed the battery out, I did various other things, and didn't really get to it, and then the weather warmed up and the problem went away. Well, it's now got cold again and it's here. So I basically think what's happening is that the anti-shudder valve has got grease inside it, and the grease is thickening as the weather gets colder and the nights get longer. So it's actually cooling down overnight, and then it's very slow to react, and it's triggering a fault code. But we'll go into it and have a look, see what we've got. So on this car we have onboard diagnostics via the colour DIS. This gives you a fault code, but it doesn't tell you what the fault is, i.e. inlet manifold. So I can actually clear the fault automatically while I'm driving the car if I go into the diagnostics screen here, which you can just see. So I go into engine, click engine, and I can read fault codes. So it's now communicating to the engine via the colour DIS, and we have that error. So like I said, that if you go on to Roscom or Vagcom or the laptop-based softwares, you'll probably be able to diagnose that fault. I don't have that facility at this moment in time, but I'm going to invest in it in a couple of months as I continue to keep modifying and developing the car. So we're just going to come back here and look at the iSoft, which I've got plugged in. So the first thing I'm going to do is enter into diagnostics. Move over to Audi, enter into that, enter into vehicle selection. So we're going to go for Audi A2, enter that, and we're going to go for a manual selection because we pretty much know where we've got, and we're going to go into the engine control module. So that's now talking to the car, and again we've still got the check light on the dash, and it's initialising. I can't remember if I need to start the engine for this or not, but we'll find out in a minute. Communicating, so we're good to go. So I'm going to read the fault code, which is for the engine ECU, and it's reading the fault code. Hey, bingo! So motor for inlet manifold flap malfunction. So the fault code is V157. So we know that I'm dealing with the same fault code that I've been dealing with for a period of time. If I then go back if I now come back onto the DIS, and I can read the fault codes, and I'm also using this video to document the fault codes. It's not reconnecting this time. I don't know whether that's because it's got the code reader connected to it as well. No response from the code reader. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug that fault code reader, and I'm going to try again. So I'm going to go back. So I'm going to read fault codes. I'm going to connecting. Okay, and then I'm basically going to select on the dashboard, which is the really useful thing about Tom Cunningham's DIS conversion. I've got the option of clearing that fault code. So I'm now going to clear that fault code, and the engine check light should disconnect. I'm going to click go back. I'm going to turn the ignition off. which will then time out. And you can also see the trip data, various other bits and bobs there. I'm now going to reinstate the ignition again. And start the car. And hey presto, engine check light's gone out. So I'm then going to go into DIS again, into diagnostics, and read the fault codes. And we've got an error. So let's go back and make sure I've done that wrong. So read faults. So I've got the error light. That's interesting. So I'm going to clear that. Go back again and read faults. So no faults found. So if any of you people out there that's much more knowledgeable than me want to comment on the reason why I'm continuing to get this inlet manifold anti-shudder valve fault and why it gets worse in winter and how to fix it, I would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye.